You.
Of. A middle-aged man sat on a wooden chair in the center of the room, his wrists bound tightly with metal chains. His prison uniform hung loosely on his tired frame. His name was Daniel Carter, and for the first time in years, his eyes showed something other than anger or defiance. Behind him stood 6 police officers, arms crossed, watching carefully. In front of him, separated by only a few steps, stood a German Shepherd police dog, alert and tense, its sharp eyes fixed on the man. Daniel swallowed hard. He had been arrested for a crime that shook the entire city. The evidence looked overwhelming. Witnesses testified against him. Even his own lawyer had quietly admitted that the chances of freedom were almost non-existent. Daniel knew this room might be the last place he would ever sit as a free man. When the lead officer asked if he had anything to say before the final report was filed, Daniel hesitated. His voice trembled as he finally spoke. "I don't want a lawyer. I don't want a phone call," he said softly. "I just want to see my dog. One last time." The officers exchanged confused looks. A dog? In all their years of service, none of them had heard such a request. After a brief discussion, one officer remembered the file. Years ago, Daniel had worked as a police K-9 trainer before his life fell apart. He had raised a German Shepherd named Max from a puppy. Against all rules and expectations, the captain made a decision. "Bring the dog in," he said. Minutes later, the door opened. The German Shepherd stepped inside, led by a handler. The moment the dog saw Daniel, everything changed. The dog froze. Its ears lowered. Its tail stopped wagging. Slowly, it began to whine, not aggressively, not fearfully, but with recognition. The handler tightened his grip on the leash, sensing the sudden shift. Daniel's eyes filled with tears. "Max," he whispered. The dog lunged forward, barking loudly, teeth visible. Officers immediately reached for their weapons, assuming the worst. But something felt wrong. The barking wasn't violent. It was desperate. Max pulled hard, forcing the handler to loosen the leash. The dog rushed toward Daniel and stopped inches away from him. Then, instead of attacking, Max sat down. Right in front of him. The room went completely still. Max tilted his head, staring deeply into Daniel's eyes. He sniffed the air, then slowly moved closer, placing his nose against Daniel's chained hands. His body trembled. Daniel broke down. "I never hurt anyone," he cried. "I was framed. I swear." Max suddenly stood up and barked again, this time turning sharply toward one of the officers standing in the back. The dog growled. The officer stiffened. The handler shouted, "That's strange. Max never reacts like this." Max walked straight toward that officer, sniffing aggressively around his belt and boots. He barked loudly, refusing to back away. The captain ordered the officer to step forward. "What's going on?" he demanded. Sweat formed on the officer's forehead. Max barked again and pawed at a small hidden pocket inside the officer's jacket. Another officer stepped in and searched it. What they found changed everything. Inside was a flash drive, evidence that had supposedly gone missing weeks ago. When plugged into a computer moments later, it revealed security footage clearly showing the officer planting evidence at the crime scene, and Daniel trying to stop him. The room exploded with chaos. Daniel stared in disbelief as the truth unraveled before his eyes. The officer was arrested on the spot. Charges were dropped. Apologies were spoken, though none could erase the years Daniel had lost. Max ran back to Daniel, whining joyfully, licking his face. "You saved me," Daniel whispered, pressing his forehead against the dog's. "You never stopped believing in me." Weeks later, Daniel walked out of the prison gates a free man. The sun felt warmer than he remembered. Max walked beside him, proud and calm, just like old times. Sometimes, justice doesn't come from words or laws. Sometimes, it comes from loyalty. from a heart that never forgets.